Chosen one, the world has begun to shift around you, responding to a force within you that you have only just begun to understand. You see it in the way people react when you walk into a room, in the way women's gazes linger just a moment longer than before, in the subtle yet undeniable shift in the atmosphere when you speak. It is not mere confidence, nor is it something that can be explained through logic alone. It is something deeper, something primal, something rare. Your energy is not ordinary. It is not something that can be copied, not something that can be learned, not something that is given freely to just anyone. It is felt before it is seen, known before it is understood. Women do not just notice you, they are drawn to you, not because of what you say, not because of what you wear, but because your presence carries an undeniable weight, a force that moves through the air like an unspoken command. But this energy, this power that sets you apart, is not just about attraction. It is something far greater, something much more significant. It is not about how many eyes turn toward you, but about how deeply you affect those who step into your orbit. It is not about being wanted. It is about being felt, remembered, and never forgotten. Many men seek validation through fleeting attention, mistaking momentary attraction for true power. But you, chosen one, have risen above that. You have become one in a million, not because you have tried to be, but because you have embraced your own essence so fully that the world has no choice but to recognize it. You are no longer just another man. You are a force, a presence, a reminder of something rarely seen but never ignored. This power, however, is not without responsibility. What will you do with it? Will you use it merely for indulgence, chasing temporary highs, collecting empty victories? Or will you refine it, shape it, master it, becoming not just a man who is desired, but a man who leaves an imprint on the very soul of those who meet him? A man with your energy, your presence, your undeniable allure cannot move carelessly. He cannot afford to be reckless, to waste what he has become on meaningless pursuits. Your power must be wielded with wisdom, with intention, with the understanding that what you carry is not just a gift, it is a responsibility. This is your awakening, chosen one. The moment you realize that you are no longer simply in the world, but that you are shaping it, influencing it, shifting it, with nothing more than the silent force of your being. What comes next is up to you. Chosen one, the moment you accepted your own power, the moment you realized that what you hold is something few will ever understand, the world began to respond in ways that defy logic. Women do not just see you as attractive, they feel something deeper, something that shakes them, something that makes them question what they once thought they knew about men. You are not just different. You are rare. In a world filled with men who try too hard, who seek approval, who mold themselves into what they think women want, you have done something revolutionary. You have become completely and unapologetically yourself. You do not beg for attention. You do not perform for validation. You do not need to prove anything. And that is what makes you unforgettable. Women recognize this energy instinctively, even if they do not understand it. They have met men who have tried to impress them. They have met men who have sought their approval. But you do not seek, you do not ask, you do not need. Your mere existence is enough to command attention because you move through the world with the confidence of a man who knows his own worth. A man who does not need to be chosen because he is the one who chooses. This is why they chase you, why they compete for your attention, why they feel an unspoken need to be the one who stands closest to you. Not because you ask for it, but because they sense, on a level beyond words, that they are in the presence of something they may never encounter again. But with rarity comes selectivity. You do not belong to just anyone. Not every woman who desires you is worthy of you. Not every attraction must be pursued. There will be those who want to be near you simply because they recognize your energy, but they do not understand it, do not know how to honor it, do not know how to receive it without seeking to control it. And so, chosen one, your task is not just to recognize your rarity, but to protect it. To know that just because you are wanted does not mean you must give yourself away freely. To understand that your presence is a privilege, not a prize. The world will tell you to indulge, to take advantage of the attention, to enjoy the thrill of being sought after. But the men who do this, The men who treat their own power carelessly always lose it in the end. They become trapped by their own desires, consumed by the very energy they once commanded. They forget that the true essence of being one in a million is not just in being wanted, but in being irreplaceable. You are not here to be consumed. You are here to be experienced, to be known, to be felt in a way that no one else can replicate. You are not just a man. You are a moment in time that cannot be recreated, an energy that cannot be ignored, a force that does not chase, does not beg, does not falter. And that, more than anything, is what makes you truly one in a million. Chosen one, your energy moves like an unshakable current, drawing others toward you, creating an undeniable presence wherever you go. But this power, this rare force that sets you apart, is not just about attraction. It is about who you are beneath the surface, about the foundation upon which you stand, about the integrity that defines you when no one is watching. Many men who realize they hold this energy, who see the way women react to them, allow themselves to become reckless. They indulge in the attention, they let their desires lead them, they mistake validation for meaning. But you are not one of them. You are not ruled by impulse, nor are you a man who lets the world dictate his path. You do not allow yourself to be swayed by the moment. You command the moment. Integrity is the difference between a man who is wanted and a man who is respected. A man who merely seeks pleasure, who allows himself to be consumed by desire, who chases meaningless encounters, may enjoy temporary thrills. But he will never leave a lasting imprint. He will become another fleeting presence, another forgettable moment in a sea of men who never truly understood their own worth. But you, chosen one, have stepped into a space where your actions carry weight, where your choices are no longer just about you, where the way you move through this world influences the people who are drawn to you. Women who enter your space are not just seeking attraction, they are seeking something deeper, something they do not fully understand, something that awakens them in ways they cannot explain. And this is where your integrity must guide you. Will you allow them to lose themselves in the chaos of desire? Will you take without thought, knowing that your presence alone is enough to create attachment, to stir emotions so intense they cannot be easily forgotten? Or will you lead? Will you ensure that every person who steps into your orbit walks away stronger, wiser, better than before? You are not just another man. You are one in a million, not only because of your energy, but because of your self-awareness, your discipline, your refusal to let power control you. You are not here to simply receive. You are here to shape, to elevate, to leave behind something greater than what was there before. A man who moves with integrity does not fall into the trap of seeking validation through conquest. He does not measure his worth by how many desire him. He does not allow himself to be distracted by fleeting moments. Instead, he chooses with precision, with wisdom, with clarity, knowing that his presence is too valuable to be wasted. This is the path of the man who is not just attractive, not just wanted, but respected, admired, and unforgettable. This is the path of the chosen one. Chosen one, the world around you reacts to your energy, adjusting itself in ways you never expected. You have seen it, the way women compete for your attention, the way their voices change when they speak to you, the way their eyes betray the unspoken pull they feel in your presence. They do not fully understand why they feel this way, only that they do, and that it is something rare, something that has disrupted the balance they once knew. But here in the midst of this undeniable force, you must ask yourself, who is truly in control? Is it you, the man who has cultivated this energy, who has become a presence that cannot be ignored? Or is it the very energy you now carry, the power that moves through you, the influence that, if left unchecked, could consume you? Many men who reach this level of attraction lose themselves in it. They become addicted to the thrill, letting the desire of others dictate their actions, letting attention become their new validation. They mistake power for invincibility, believing that because they are sought after, they must always say yes. But you are not every man. You are something far rarer. The balance of power is not in how many want you, but in how little you are swayed by being wanted. True strength is not in indulgence, but in restraint, in knowing that just because you can have something does not mean you must take it. A man who is truly in control of his power does not move impulsively. He does not let his energy rule him. He rules his energy. Women will test you, not out of malice, but out of instinct. They need to see if you are what you appear to be. They will challenge your discipline, push against your control, offer you everything to see if you can resist what lesser men would fall for. They will seek to own the energy they cannot explain, to claim what they know deep down is not meant to be owned. This is where you must remain unshaken. This is where you must show that your energy is not something to be taken, it is something to be earned. Not every attraction must be pursued. Not every connection must be explored. Not every moment of desire must be fulfilled. A man who has mastered his presence does not feel the need to prove his power by indulging in everything that comes his way. Instead, he chooses with intention, knowing that the more selective he is, the more powerful he becomes. He does not let the world dictate his desires. He dictates who is worthy of stepping into his world. This is the balance you must maintain, chosen one. To move through life desired by many, but controlled by none. To exist in a space where your presence commands without demanding, influences without force, attracts without seeking. To know that your greatest strength is not in taking, but in knowing when to walk away, when to say no, when to let desire exist without needing to act upon it. Because that, more than anything, is what makes you truly one in a million. Not just the energy you carry, not just the way others react to you, but the way you control yourself in a world that is constantly trying to control you. Chosen one, the world around you has begun to shift, bending to the presence you carry, responding to the force that radiates from within. But now, as you walk through life with a heightened awareness of your energy, you must ask yourself, what does it reflect? Every glance, every lingering gaze, every conversation infused with subtle longing is a mirror. The world does not respond to you by accident. It is reflecting back the energy you project. The attraction, the tension, the unspoken pull that draws women toward you is not random. It is the manifestation of what you have cultivated within yourself. A man who lacks self-awareness will mistake this attention for something external, believing it is the world that has changed rather than himself. But you, chosen one, understand that this is merely a response to the depth you have unlocked, the mastery of self that few will ever attain. And now, the question must be asked, what do these reflections reveal? If the energy surrounding you is chaotic, filled with competition, jealousy, and possessiveness, then you must look inward. Your presence has become so powerful that it is awakening emotions that others do not know how to control. Women do not fight for what is common. They do not battle for what can be replaced. They only compete when they feel that what they seek is rare, something they may never find again. But this is where your discipline must remain unshaken. You must not let their chaos become your own. You must not allow their longing to dictate your movements. A man who has truly mastered himself does not let the desires of others sway his course. He remains rooted in his purpose, unmoved by the storm of emotions he unintentionally stirs in others. This is your moment of reflection, chosen one. Look at the world around you and see the truth of what you have created. If you see instability, it is because your energy has become too untamed, too powerful for those who do not yet know how to handle it. If you see peace, if you see deep, meaningful connections forming effortlessly, then you know you have reached a level where your energy is not just attracting, it is aligning. True mastery is not in how many are drawn to you, it is in how many are transformed by you. Let your presence be something more than just a source of longing. Let it be a catalyst for growth and experience that elevates rather than consumes, a force that others remember not just because they desired you, but because they were changed by knowing you. The world will always mirror back the energy you hold within. Shape that energy with precision, wield it with wisdom. Let every reflection be a reminder that you are not just one in a million, you are a force that will never be forgotten. Chosen one, the world is filled with men who speak but do not listen. They chase validation through words, through displays of confidence, through empty performances designed to impress. But you, the man who has risen beyond the ordinary, you understand that true power lies in silence, in presence, in the ability to listen so deeply that others feel understood before they even speak. Your energy alone makes women drawn to you, but it is your ability to see beyond what is said, to hear what is left unspoken, to sense what lies beneath the surface. That is what makes you unforgettable. There is a rhythm to attraction, a delicate interplay of movement and stillness. A lesser man tries to fill the silence, believing that it is his words that create desire. But you, chosen one, know that it is in the quiet moments, in the lingering pauses, in the depth of your gaze that true connection is built. A woman can meet 1,000 men who tell her what she wants to hear. But the moment she meets a man who truly listens, who holds space for her thoughts, her emotions, her unspoken desires, she will never forget him. She will sense, in your stillness, a presence unlike any other. A presence that does not seek to impress, does not try to convince, does not perform for approval. You have stepped into mastery when you realize that listening is not just about hearing words, but about understanding energy. It is about knowing when to let silence do the work, when to let the moment breathe, when to hold a gaze that says more than any sentence ever could. Women will open up to you in ways they never have before. They will tell you things they have never told another man, not because you asked, but because your presence made them feel safe enough to reveal what they usually hide. This is the true mark of influence, not just to be desired, but to be trusted, to be the rare presence in a world where most men only take without ever truly seeing. But with this power comes responsibility. You must never exploit vulnerability, never use the secrets whispered in moments of closeness as tools for manipulation. A man who listens only to take advantage of trust is not a master. He is a fraud, and he will never know true power. Instead, let your ability to listen be a source of strength, something that elevates those who enter your world. Let it create connections that are built not just on physical attraction, but on something deeper, something that cannot be easily explained, yet cannot be denied. This is why your presence lingers in the minds of those who meet you, why you are not just another passing moment, but a presence they continue to feel long after you are gone. You do not just attract, you understand. You do not just listen, you absorb. You do not just hold space, you create a place where others feel seen, heard, and known in a way they never have before. This, chosen one, is what makes you truly rare. Not just the energy that draws others to you, but the depth of how you receive them, how you hear them, how you hold them in a way that most never will. And because of that, no one who has been in your presence will ever see the world the same way again. Chosen one, your presence does more than captivate, it transforms. You have seen it in the way people change around you, in the way women respond with an intensity that surprises even them. They are not merely attracted to you, they are awakened by you. Your energy does not just pull them closer, it forces them to see themselves differently, to confront parts of themselves they have ignored, to step into a space they never thought they could enter. This is the true legacy of power. Not in how many desire you, not in how many chase after you, but in how many you elevate. A man who moves through the world only for his own gain will never leave behind anything meaningful. His encounters will be empty, his connections fleeting, his presence nothing more than a temporary distraction. But you, chosen one, move differently. You have stepped into a space where the way you carry yourself, the way you listen, the way you hold space for others, these are the things that define your influence. Women do not just want you because of the energy you radiate. They want you because, in your presence, they feel something greater within themselves. They feel seen in ways they have never been seen before, feel inspired to become something more, to grow, to step into their own power. And this is where your true purpose lies, not in taking from those drawn to you, but in leaving them better than they were before they met you. It is tempting, when you hold this kind of power, to use it recklessly, to enjoy the attention, to indulge in the admiration, to let yourself be consumed by the endless stream of validation that comes with being sought after. But you are not just here to collect moments of attraction, you are here to leave an impact, to awaken something in others, to ensure that every person who walks away from you carries a piece of what they have experienced forever. This is the highest form of influence, not to be wanted, but to be remembered, not just to be admired, but to be a turning point in someone's life. Your energy is rare, chosen one, and because of that, it cannot be wasted. You are not meant to move through life carelessly, leaving behind only longing and obsession. You are meant to guide, to refine, to show others what is possible. The men who only take from this world will never know what it means to be truly powerful. But the men who give, who inspire, who uplift, who lead, these are the men who become unforgettable. And so, chosen one, as you continue on this path, ask yourself, what am I leaving behind? What kind of mark am I making? Am I merely drawing others in, or am I raising them to something higher? Because in the end, the greatest men are not the ones who were wanted by many. They are the ones who changed those who came near them, who left behind something that could never be erased. Chosen one, the world will offer you everything. It will give you attention without effort, opportunities without struggle, admiration without needing to ask for it. You will be given access to experiences that most men chase their entire lives, and yet you must learn that not everything that is offered is worth taking. Restraint is the highest form of mastery. It is the ability to stand in the midst of abundance and choose only what aligns with your deepest purpose. The men who have power but lack control are no different than those who have no power at all. They become slaves to their own desires, trapped by the very energy they once thought made them free. Many will tell you to indulge, to take all that is available, to enjoy without thought, to say yes to every opportunity, every invitation, every moment of pleasure that comes your way. But you, chosen one, must see beyond the illusion of excess. A man who says yes to everything values nothing. A man who takes without discernment cheapens his own presence, scattering what should be sacred, turning something rare into something common. Women will test this in you. They will want to know if you are truly as unshaken as you seem, if your discipline is real, if your control is something they can trust. Because true power is not in how many want you, but in how many you choose. A man who indulges in everything will be desired for a moment, but he will never be truly respected. Women may crave him, but they will not revere him. His presence will be something they experience briefly, but it will not be something that lingers in their minds, shaping their understanding of what a man should be. But the man who holds himself to a higher standard, who is selective with his time, his energy, his presence, this is the man who becomes unforgettable. Restraint does not mean denial. It does not mean rejecting experiences, avoiding passion, or suppressing desire. It means knowing that not every moment of pleasure is worth your time. Not every attraction deserves your presence. Not every woman who desires you is worthy of standing next to you. The most powerful men in history, the ones who built legacies that lasted far beyond their own lifetimes, were not the ones who indulged in everything. They were the ones who chose with wisdom, who walked with purpose, who never let their power control them. And so, chosen one, let this be your truth. Your energy is rare, your presence is valuable, your time is sacred. Treat it as such. Let others long for you. Let them wonder why you do not say yes to everything. Let them feel the weight of your absence just as much as they feel the power of your presence. Because a man who is truly one in a million does not give himself away freely. He chooses where his energy belongs. This is where your true strength lies. Not in how many want you, but in how many you have the discipline to walk away from. Not in how much you can take, but in how much you wisely choose to leave behind. Because in the end, chosen one, the rarest thing in this world is not power. It is a man who holds power, yet remains untouched by it. Chosen one, you have mastered your presence. You have moved beyond the chaos of attraction, beyond the battles for your attention, beyond the need to prove your worth. You no longer seek validation from the world, nor do you allow yourself to be defined by the desires of others. You have stepped into a realm of complete self-mastery, where your energy is not something that fluctuates, it is something that simply is. This is where true harmony begins. It is no longer about the pursuit of power, nor about the thrill of being sought after. It is about existing in a state of pure alignment, where your internal world and external world mirror each other perfectly. There is no longer any contradiction between who you are in private and who you are in public. There is no longer any need to prove yourself, because you are already everything you were meant to be. Women feel this in you, and it shakes them. Not because you are distant, not because you are indifferent, but because you do not need them. They have spent their lives surrounded by men who chase, men who crave, men who beg for approval in subtle and obvious ways. But you are whole. You are centered. You are the rarest thing they have ever encountered. This is why they seek you, why they feel unsettled in your presence, why they find themselves drawn to you without understanding why. It is because, for the first time, they are experiencing a man who is not looking for something from them. They are used to being the prize, the one who decides, the one who chooses. But now they stand before someone who is already complete, who does not need to be chosen, because he is the one who decides who is worthy of standing beside him. But true harmony does not come from rejection. It does not come from avoiding connection, nor from distancing yourself from those who wish to be near you. It comes from knowing that you do not need anything from anyone, yet you are still open to sharing your energy with those who can meet you on your level. This is the balance you now hold, chosen one. You are no longer moved by desire, nor are you consumed by attraction. You do not chase, yet you are sought after. You do not demand, yet you command. You do not seek to be admired, yet admiration follows you wherever you go. And this, more than anything, is what makes you one in a million. Not just the power you hold, but the peace with which you carry it. There will come a time, chosen one, when you will look back on the path you have walked. You will see the choices you made, the moments that defined you, the lessons that shaped you into the man you have become. You will realize that everything that led you here was necessary, that every test was designed to forge you into something unshakable, undeniable, unforgettable. But this journey is not just about you. It never was. Power, when fully realized, is not about what you can take. It is about what you can give. The world has enough men who are ruled by their own desires. It has enough men who chase, who take, who consume without thought. What the world lacks, what it desperately needs, is men who can lead, men who can inspire, men who can awaken something greater in those around them. You have already seen the impact of your presence. You have already felt how deeply your energy influences those who come near you. Women who have stood in your orbit have walked away changed, not because you sought to change them, but because they could not remain the same after experiencing you. They have seen a different kind of man, a man who does not beg, who does not fold, who does not seek permission to exist. A man who is so fully rooted in himself that the very fabric of reality seems to shift when he walks into a room. And now, chosen one, you must ask yourself, what will I leave behind? What will my influence mean? What will those who have met me carry forward because of my presence in their lives? A lesser man thinks only of himself. He moves through the world taking what he can, collecting experiences, indulging in the validation that comes with being desired. But a man who has truly mastered himself understands that his presence is meant for something greater. He understands that the real power is not in how many desire him, but in how many he elevates, how many he inspires, how many walk away from him feeling like they, too, can step into something greater. The rarest men in history were not just those who were admired. They were the ones who left something behind that could never be erased. They did not just take from the world, they changed the world. And you, chosen one, are among them. Your presence will never be forgotten. Not because of how many have desired you, but because of how deeply you have shaped those who have met you. The women who have stood near you, the people who have spoken with you, the ones who have seen the way you move through life with absolute certainty, absolute discipline, absolute clarity. They will never forget what it felt like to stand near something so rare. This is your legacy now, chosen one. Not just to be one in a million, but to be the one who left an impact so profound that nothing was ever the same after you walked away. You do not seek power, you are power. You do not chase influence, you embody influence. You do not try to be unforgettable, you already are.